not digging that song quite as much as the last, I've got to tell you. These copyright free songs are a minefield. Dog just keeps on farting here and bring a tear to a dead eye, not a glass eye, a dead eye. Aye. Well, hello and welcome into Entertainment News. I am Jonathan C. Walsh here to discuss the latest happenings in the world of Hollywood and Hollywood only. Tonight, it's all movie news. I should have turned that E clockwise and made it an M. Made it movie news again, because I'm here to discuss mostly movie news, and the headline, if you've clicked on it, is about Napoleon reviews. Mixed bag, mostly praising the Ridley Scott epic, mostly praising Joaquin Phoenix, but I'm not going to speak about that right now. I'm going to get one of the filler topics off my chest first and foremost, because just it's lovely. It's a lovely poster. Of course, I'm talking about chocolate raining down. Chocolate! Raining down in the new Wonka poster. That's an in-joke, incidentally, a family joke. You know what else is going to be a joke? When I go to the web capture and quickly discover that I've not captured the correct window and I've not updated the camera settings, so I'm going to be off to the side again. Isn't that just incredible looking there? So I'm just going to go in and do that on the hop. And like magic, it is here. I have got the Wonka article coming in from Collider. Here in all its glory, it's been covered by Brita Devore. And yeah, I mean, it's a poster that's come out. Well, I'm a bit of a poster freak. I do love my movie posters. I've always been a big fan of it. It's, I think, why I really do enjoy the Indian promotion of their films more than I could ever possibly hope to enjoy Western promotion of their films, because they really buy into all aspects of the film. Soundtracks, sort of dance numbers, motion posters themselves. They celebrate the film as a cast and a crew before it even comes out. They do it right for me in India. They really celebrate every individual movie, every individual production. And that's something that aligns with me. I really do love all sort of working cogs in a film. I don't just like the singular experience of going and seeing it in a theatre. I like all the aspects, if you like. And this poster is just divine. It really is. I'd love to eat one of these little chocolate balls that he's throwing down. He's showering upon us. It's a fantastic poster. I love the colours. I'm a big fan of purple and lilac and violet and things like that. Purple's my favourite colour. Aqua's my second favourite colour. We've almost got a combination of those two things in this poster. And really, man, just buzzing that we're under a month now away from this Paul King movie coming out. Love Timothée Chalamet as an actor. I think he's absolutely stunning. The actor of his generation. He's almost like the DiCaprio of his generation. And the magic that they have seemingly bestowed upon this movie is palpable. When you watch the trailers, you can feel it. There's something magical when Hugh Grant, I wish it was Hugh Laurie. He's a better actor. I love Hugh though. I love Hugh Grant. I've went full 360 on Hugh Grant. I used to think he was a bit of a twat back in the day, but he's become more politically aware and a better individual as the decades have passed. But when you see Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa in the trailers, it's just magical. It's got that magic vibe to it. And I really think this movie is going to be a huge, huge success. Not just this year, but moving into next year as well. That December 15th theatre release is the perfect spot for Wonka. It's a festive experience. And there's just something magical about the Willy Wonka story. The magical musical elements. And that's typified in that poster for me. It's a beautiful, beautiful poster that's just got the anticipatory juices flowing evermore. I did say it was a filler topic though. That's why I wanted to get out of the way. There's another filler topic at the end, I'm not going to lie, but I don't want to finish with two filler topics because that feels a little bit of a Debbie Downer. So I'd got one out of the way first. It's about the poster. I enjoy that poster a lot. A hell of a lot. And in actual fact, I'll be going and seeing this movie in the IMAX when it comes out and getting my gingerbread latte at Starbucks afterwards, which is an annual tradition for me. But look, I'm going to move on to the headline of the show. That's not it. That was last night's, 3 days ago's headline. So let's go in and try and do this again, shall we? Is it this, perchance? It's not that either, isn't it? Not. Is there a graphic for the headline on the show tonight? Nope. That's the next topic. Looks like it's not happened. The title bar graphic, and I can't be arsed opening Photoshop up and creating one on the hop. I am just not good enough at filling in dead air while I type furiously and try and throw together a graphic bar, even though it would take 2 minutes maximum. But look, man, I'm here to speak about Napoleon anyway. The Napoleon reviews are out. What's going on here, man, with OBS? It is having a fucking stroke on my screen just now. What is happening, man? Wow. I just never fail to be amazed by how shit OBS is at times. It really is a honking experience. But yeah, reviews are in. They're largely positive. They're largely praising of the Napoleon experience. There is some dissenting voices in there. In fact, there's more than a few dissenting voices in there. If you go into Rotten Tomatoes, you will see that is indeed the case. 64% isn't stellar by any means. But I just get the feeling that this is a movie that will resonate more with the audience, the general viewer, than it does for the critic. I just get that sense, the way they're talking about it, it's got unintentional comedy in there, maybe intentional comedy in there. There's some height jokes in there about Napoleon Bonaparte. I get the feeling that's something that will resonate more with the average cinema-going member, patron, person, whatever adjective you want to use. And just the epic nature of the battles, which you can sense through the actual trailer. I feel like this is elements that will resonate more with the average viewer. And look, it's still great. It's still good. It's rated fresh. 64% of the critical output, whatever one it is, its output, still rate this movie highly. So, yeah, I'm going to stay away from there just now. I'm going to read some of the lengthier reviews because I really am intrigued to hear what some people are thinking about this. Graham Gutman's teasing a complicated love story, and this is what I had to say about it. I'm looking forward to this movie a hell of a lot. I've really enjoyed Scott over his career. He's a guy that brings period piece epics to the screen, and they usually work. Even The Last Duel, which as far as I'm aware isn't based on real events, was pretty fucking epic. And it's authenticity, it's period authenticity, epic, and the weightiness of it. And it's the performances he gets out of actors, and that's the aspect that I'm most excited about. The fact that he has got one Joaquin Phoenix starring in this movie. You combine Joaquin Phoenix's magic in front of a camera with Ridley Scott's magic behind the camera, and you use the subject matter of Napoleon Bonaparte, then I think you've got potential for magic there. Now, look, I'm not saying it's going to be an Oscar-winning movie, Best Picture by any stretch, but I'm going to read some of these reviews anyway because I'm intrigued. Screen Rant's Graham Gutman said this: "To say Napoleon is a love story may sound strange, but in many ways the film is driven by the conqueror's erratic desire for victory, for Josephine, for a male heir in France. That France often loves him back is a wonder in itself, but Scott's film does not seem to say the same. It does not lionise the figure, nor does it crucify him. Napoleon doesn't even really try to tell the history of France's most tumultuous period with any sort of coherence. Instead, like the man himself, Napoleon is a confounding film, as exciting as it is plodding and as self-aware of its flaws as Napoleon was blind to his own." And I think that's absolutely fine, man. It's difficult to get the balance right when you're doing a biopic about such a notorious figure who's had such an illustrious life, a long and tumultuous life indeed. How do you do that justice in a 2.5 hour movie? It's simply impossible. If you want to do this kind of story and do it properly, I would imagine a mini-series on HBO or something like that, or even a proper series where you've got multiple seasons covering his life, is certainly doable. A 2.5 hour movie, you have to omit some things. You have to make some creative judgments and what to maybe focus on and what not to focus on. And it's a difficult balance to get right. I'm fucking excited about this movie regardless of this score. I have to stress, I don't really care whether they rate it 64% or 20% or they give it 98%. I'm on board for this film. I love the trailers. This guy's an absolute god of an actor. I don't really give a shit about any of this, but I had to speak about something, didn't I? And I do like covering reviews of films for some strange reason. It's an odd little, I don't know, I was about to say a kink, but I don't think it's a kink. It's a strange choice of word. I'm going to completely ignore Collider. I'm going to go down to someone who's a little bit more esteemed. No offence to Collider. Nicholas Barber from BBC, B&Q. You can do it when you B&Q it. I'd love to hear someone from B&Q sell me a hammer, but also giving me a fucking in-depth review of Napoleon by Ridley Scott. That'd be something to behold. Some would argue they couldn't do a worse job than me. But Nicholas Barber from the BBC says the movie is epic and fun, but it sadly fails to deeply develop its main character. That's a bit strange because it is a film called Napoleon, so you would expect the main character to be developed. scene by scene, his proper old-fashioned historical epic is terrific fun, but it lacks insights into what, or into who, I should say, Napoleon is, or what he wants, where he comes from, or why he's such a success. Not, it's fucking Napoleon. Everyone knows who he is. They know what he wants. They know where he comes from. He's a notorious historical figure. Every fucking person on the planet, I don't care where you're from, North Korea, America, Mexico, Ethiopia, everyone knows about Napoleon Bonaparte. Come on. You just cut to the chase, you cut that shit out and you get down to the storytelling. You don't have to give us an origin story. Everybody knows about him, man. We're taught this shit in school at a young age. Come on now. Behave. It'd be a 7-8 hour Das Boot special if we were telling the origin stories of Napoleon, man. They've not got time for that. What are you talking about? Nor does it delve... thought that camera crashed there again. Jesus Christ. Nearly had my Labrador on the screen again. Nor does it delve below the surface of the geopolitics around him. It is never clear why he's fighting a particular battle or signing a particular treaty. And because it isn't clear, it's difficult to care about their outcomes. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's niche, but I'm sure there's a sizable amount of audience members who know enough about Napoleon to go in and get something from it. And perhaps it can work the other way for people who don't know a huge amount about Napoleon and his exploits. Perhaps they can watch this and gain some sort of inspiration from the film and then get down a rabbit hole and read about the man's life. You cannot tell a story like this in 2.5 hours. You've got to make omissions. Sadly, you have. Empire's Catherine Bray thinks the movie is kind of a contradiction. These are not... have to stress. I used this as a headline. Largely celebrated in reviews, a bombastic epic of style over substance. These are all negative. This is a contradiction. The headline, me speaking here, is a contradiction. They're not largely celebrating this movie. They seem to be criticising this movie a fair bit. So I'm going to move over to some of the positive ones in a minute, because these negative bastards are starting to drag me down. The marketing for Napoleon did a bang-up job of making Ridley Scott's take on the French Emperor's rise and fall look very grandiose and serious. But that's not exactly what the film is like. This is a historical epic, which is constantly on the lookout for subtle ways to undercut historical epics. Well, that's intriguing. I'm going to go over here and read some of the positive ones. There's got to be some positive ones in here. Arizona Republic, Bill Goodykunts. That can't be a real name. I'm just not having it. Napoleon isn't a failure on anyone's part, but it's not a rousing success. Let's get on here. Where are the celebratory reviews for this movie? I'm starting to get worried here. A twisted love story wrapped in a plodding war film. Well, that's war. War shouldn't be celebrated, mate. What is it good for after all? Absolutely nothing. That's the reality of war. It is plodding. You walk a long time to fight other people. You win or you die, then you walk some more. That's the reality of war. And you cut up those moments for films like this, though, I have to stress. Joe Blow's movie network, Chris Bumbray, a dazzling but also intimate and darkly comic epic. Let's go to another Debbie Downer, shall we? Thelma Adams. But say Phillips, I don't know why. There's spectacle aplenty. You go, Sir Ridley Scott. But the overall effect of this dry, unintentionally funny epic is far from spectacular. Well, let's see if we can get some more positive ones, shall we? A movie guy, Leo Brady's gave it 4 out of 4. Leo, you're my kind of guy, mate. I wish you were real. The result is a sweeping epic filled with the ugly politics of French society, the cold sting of war, and a man who fell upward on his rise to power. Napoleon is a towering success. I hope you're right, mate. I really do. I'm going to again go back and say what I said at the start. This is not a film that's going to be for everyone. He was a divisive figure, and this will be a divisive film. I do fundamentally believe, though, that this will be a success for the regular audience. I think they will like it more than these people do. I believe in my heart of hearts that's going to be the case. A- John Kirk, original Sin, not cinema, just Sin. Not you can get a profile picture. I don't know whether to trust John Kirk. John Kirk could be, I don't know. We'll read his review and we'll take it from there. though necessarily selective about the events it depicts. I just realised that's off kilter, incidentally, that's annoying. Scott's epic film nevertheless offers a concise sense of the man who still looms so large over France's history. Look, concise is fine, it's a 2.5 hour movie. Sadly, you're going to have to make omissions in a movie of that nature. It's just inevitable. You cannot possibly tell the entire story of Napoleon in a 2.5 hour movie. It's not possible. Omissions will have to be made, creative license will have to be taken to make this kind of film. What I hope though is that what they've hinted at in NME is true. That it is perhaps style over substance in some areas, but that we do have hard hitting moments. We do a kind of insight into this guy. We don't have to get his fucking warts and all, full autobiographical telling, but that we get some moments with the character that allow Joaquin Phoenix to work his magic. By all accounts, they're praising, some people are praising, not in these reviews I've read, I have to stress, but by all accounts, Joaquin is getting praise for his role, and you kind of expect that. He's a one-of-a-kind actor. He's an Academy Award-winning actor. He's off of acting royalty, with River Phoenix being his brother, of course. So in the main, I'm positive about this. I don't really care whether there's a 64% rated fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, a 90% or a 20%. The trailers resonated with me. I enjoy Joaquin. I think Ridley's an incredible director. And I genuinely am looking forward to seeing this movie. So, yeah, I'm going to move on now because I've not got much more to add to it. I'm not going to sit and read review after review after review of negative Debbie Downer fucks. Just moaning about life and this film in particular. I'm going to move on and try and keep it upbeat. I'm looking forward to Napoleon. Haste you here. The Kang Dynasty loses its director. I'm going to remain upbeat by speaking down and negatively about the MCU though. How do you remain upbeat when you've got a Captain America shield behind you and you're about to absolutely shit on the MCU again? Second time in a week, I think. Third time in 2 weeks. I'm going to speak down about the MCU. Destin Daniel Cretton, a man who directed one of my favourite MCU movies in the last couple of years. One of only 2 or 3 actually that have come out in the last couple of years that I really, really have enjoyed. Those 3 being Spider-Man No Way Home, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, and obviously Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Those are the 3 movies that I've really, really enjoyed as an experience. One of them I didn't get the chance to see in the theatres and I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 being that one. I've seen the other 2 in the theatres. I've seen the other 2 that I mentioned, Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi, in the theatres. Thoroughly enjoyed them, and a large part of Shang-Chi's enjoyment was the directing ability of one Destin Daniel Cretton and his ability to tease performances out of not only Simu Liu but the man who played his father, whose name's elusive to me just now. Thought he'd done a fantastic job. I spoke about him getting the Kang Dynasty Avengers gig a couple of years ago, 18 months ago I think it was. Pardon me. And I thought he fully deserved it. Thought it was the correct choice. He was a director on the up. He was following in the footsteps of Taika Waititi, the Russo brothers. Maybe not Taika, because he had his own cult following for long enough prior to becoming an MCU stalwart. But certainly there's been directors found in the MCU. Not found, but been plucked out of obscurity, relative unknowns, and then made something truly special using the MCU as a vehicle. And I felt Destin Daniel Cretton was one of them. So I was buzzing when he got the Kang Dynasty movie, but it now appears that he stepped away from the Kang Dynasty movie. I'm not entirely sure just now what the reasons are. I read this article last night and I'm still not sure what the reasons are as to why he stepped away from this movie. But I tell you what, regardless of the reasons, it is not a good sign for the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it's having flop after flop recently. Maybe not after flop, but it's had its fair share of disappointing movies. Financially, they're not making the kind of money they were making 5-6 years ago, even 3-4 years ago. And they're in a bit of disarray just now. The executive at Marvel Disney, they're starting to experience little teething problems and issues that we've seen with DC and Warner Brothers over the years when they were obviously trying to follow Snyder's vision for multiple Justice League movies and a cinematic universe of his own. Indecision, procrastination, sort of bickering from executive level, issues with movies, being successful, critical, financial issues, losing directors for fucking personal reasons in Zack Snyder's case, keeping directors and them making absolute shit show movies like the David Ayer, I think it was, Suicide Squad. We're now starting to see the same kind of thing happening with the MCU now, and it's slightly concerning because I'm going to get into the next topic, which is also the MCU, and it confounds me a bit as well. The next topic, I'm not entirely sure or convinced with the casting that has been rumoured for a certain character. It's everywhere. I'm talking about Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal. I'm going to get into that in a moment as well. I don't know what the reasons are. I think he's working on a TV show just now. It's a Marvel TV show, incidentally. But it's concerning he's walking away from an Avengers movie to concentrate on a TV show for Disney+. And look, this is not something we're completely alien to in the MCU. We've seen this with, I want to say it was, blank on his name, Scott Derrickson left Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and obviously Sam Raimi came in. What we got in that movie, despite Sam Raimi's ability to direct, was a bit of a shit show. A really disappointing movie for me. Ant-Man, I'm blanking on his name. Edgar Wright, I think, was in place to direct one of the movies. Had to step away, and we got the guy who eventually directed it. And look, I fucking love Ant-Man, I have to say. The first two Ant-Man movies, very, very good. Still not seen the third one yet, which probably speaks to my apathy, my sort of fatigue of middling to average to poor MCU movies being released. I grew up in a diet. No, I didn't grow up, man. I'm talking shit. I was 19 when the first MCU movie came out. I was a fucking adult. But I've experienced the sort of, what would you call it? There's a word that I like to use all the time. I was about to say hyacinth, but that's not right. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But I've lived through the golden era of MCU movies where hit after hit after hit is coming. 2-3 movies in a year. $1 billion releases. Building to an epic story with Thanos and the Avengers facing off in a universal conflict. I've lived through that, and now what I'm experiencing is really underwhelming. So I have to stress, man, that I'm getting fucking concerned when I read things like this, that you've got Destin Daniel Cretton no longer been attached to the Avengers movie. Now, I know there's many, many layers to this. You've got Jonathan Major's legal issues. He has been accused of, I think, domestic abuse or something like that. He's countering it. They're going to court. It's not happened yet. And he's the main central sort of villain piece in this saga that we're building just now, that we're building to in these double-header Avengers movies in a couple of years. So it stands to reason if you've got an issue with the guy that's playing the big bad character that you're building up to, having an epic battle with in these two Avengers movies, if he's got a problem, be it actually an authentic one or an inauthentic one, he's did this thing and he's not did it, and he's having to go to court for it, you cannot continue on like everything's rosy in the garden. You have to maybe halt things until we see what happens there. We don't want to do another Johnny Depp again with Amber Heard or an Ezra Miller where he flies off the fucking cliff and becomes an absolute nutbar, drinking out of people's basements and kidnapping people and all sorts. You can't have another situation like that developing, and you can't have it with such an important character like Kang, the Conqueror. So it's understandable that perhaps they're hedging their bets, Marvel. They're stepping back and waiting to see what happens in terms of the legal proceedings between Majors and obviously his girlfriend and what's happened there. And that may have actually played a part in Destin Daniel Cretton stepping away. Perhaps he thought, look, I'm not going to get involved in this. There's going to be a bit of a production purgatory maybe over the next couple of years. It will get pushed back. Maybe that's factored in, and this is why he's sticking around to direct Wonder Man. But it's really disappointing, man, because I really enjoyed this guy's directing on Shang-Chi. I really, really enjoyed Shang-Chi as a movie. I thought it balanced that Marvel humour brilliantly with real emotive moments. Some brilliant bleeding in of Far East Asian cultural elements in the movie. You get a real good performance out of Simu Liu, who's a big charismatic guy. He was one of these characters I was looking forward to moving into the MCU long term with. And I hope we'll still get that. I presume he's going to direct the next Shang-Chi movie, but disappointing to see Destin stepping away from this Avengers movie. And again, it's the underlying issues. Is it down to Jonathan Majors' court case? Is it down to him maybe just like Taika Waititi in Star Wars, deciding it's not for him? He's going to pass the baton over to someone else and let it be done correctly? Or is it alluding to larger issues bubbling under the surface for the MCU, for Kevin Feige, for Disney Marvel? Because we're starting to see, without repeating myself, a lot of issues flaring up. Movies underperforming. The stories not packing the punch they used to. The characters not having the same impact that they used to. Flooding the market with TV shows and there's too much content. People are becoming fatigued. They don't want to watch it anymore. All issues that are deeply concerning as a Marvel fan and have to be addressed with Bob Iger and Kevin Feige and fucking quickly. Because once the rot starts to set in, it's very difficult to eradicate it and move forward. So, disappointing news. I was looking forward to Destin stepping in to direct the Avengers movie. I know he didn't do the other one. He was only set up to do the Kang Dynasty. Purely because I think he's a great director. And again, like I says 5 minutes ago, it would have marked another young director or youngish director coming from relative obscurity, coming into this Marvel machine, being given a chance to direct a blockbuster movie, having a success with it, and then building his career through this vehicle, and then going off and doing what the Russos are doing, maybe doing his own thing with other movies. And now that feels like it's been stunted a bit. So disappointing news, man, I have to say, but we'll see what happens. If it means we get Shang-Chi 2 quicker, then I'm maybe a little bit happier, because I really do enjoy Shang-Chi and Aquafina, and incidentally she was a standout. But look, man, I'm going to move on. Next topic, as I did say, a bit of a Debbie Downer show in regards to the, I thought it was about to fall there. Forgot how good the rocking feature is in this chair. But you don't want to rock when you're clutching a fucking can over £150 keyboard. That's just not good. Pedro Pascal to play Reed Richards. I've said question mark, or I've put question mark there because it's not confirmed by any means. It's come in from, I believe, who was it? Deadline reported it. Yes, no, it wasn't Deadline. It was not Deadline. It was... Who reported it? Come on, fuckface. Someone reported it anyway, that he was in talks with Marvel and that he was about to be cast as Reed Richards. And my immediate reaction to this was one of mild disappointment. And that's not a reflection on Pedro Pascal as an actor or as a man. I think he's a great actor. Love him as a guy. I love watching the Lad Bible Snacks video series on YouTube, and him with Jon Favreau was one of the better ones, where he was bringing the Chilean food in. Or he wasn't bringing it in, they were bringing it to him when he was eating it, and the genuine happiness that the food was bringing him, I was living vicariously through him, because I get that kind of happiness from eating food as well. So I have to stress, Pedro's a fucking great guy. He's a brilliant actor. But my initial take on this was one of mild disappointment. I was slightly underwhelmed by the casting choice, purely because I think in my heart of hearts I wanted John Krasinski, but now that he's been sullied with that variant performance in Multiverse of Madness, part of me also would be kind of pleased that it's not John Krasinski too, because once you've been dirtied with that stank from Multiverse of Madness, I don't think there's any coming back from that. Treated like a bitch, wiped out like you were nothing, like an ant on a sort of villa floor in holiday. Once you've lived through that, it's very hard to get your respectability back as a character moving forward. I know they can say it's a variant, but he's got that stank on him. So I'm kind of glad it's not John Krasinski, but Pedro Pascal, man. I'm not the only one that shares this. I have been looking about, and there is other people sharing or echoing my sentiments in regards to Pedro Pascal. Why it feels like they're on the wrong pick from Forbes, Paul Tassi, I agree with the reasons he's given, incidentally. My initial thought was fuck Pedro again. Again, not talking down his acting ability. But the man's everywhere just now. He's in The Last of Us. He's in The Mandalorian. He's in Wonder Woman 1984. He's fucking everywhere, man. It's like a better version of Sam Worthington. And even Tom Hardy a couple of years ago. Where every second film or TV show you watch, he's in it. And it just feels like he's overexposed just now. And again, that's not a bad thing. Man's got to earn a crust. This is his career. This is his vocation, if you'd like. And he has to fucking make money from it. And he's not going to knock back work when you've got roles like this coming up. Because he knows this is potentially a trilogy of movies. And he's going to earn a handsome wage from it. So, can't knock the guy for taking the roles. But it does feel to me like he's everywhere. And just the fit, man, I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite right to me. You look at his age, he's 48 years of age. By the time this movie goes into production, he's 50. By the time it comes out, he's 51. Took another 3-4 years for a sequel. He's 54. By the end of a trilogy, he's 60. He's a bit fucking old, man. I just think he's a bit old. You have to remember, this guy's not doing the action roles, the actual stunt work. He's not physically on set for much of the Mandalorian shoots. It's a guy in a suit and he's voicing it over. I'm not saying he's not in the suit because he clearly we see his face. He's in the suit at times. But much of the sort of legwork is done with actual stuntmen and stuff like that, other guys. So is he going to be in his physical prime when these movies are coming out again and again? Ensemble movies, I presume we release a Fantastic Four movie the next year or so, 2 years, 3 years. And then it leads into the Avengers movies. Is he going to be in the best physical sort of position to take that role on and do it long term? 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years into the future? I have real doubts about this man being cast as Reed Richards. I really do. It's slightly concerning. I'm not knocking him. I think he's a fantastic fucking actor. I'm going to keep saying it, but slightly disappointed. As you can see, I did say no. Is he the right fit for Mr. Fantastic? I says no. 71% of people agree with me. So this is certainly looking like a relative. I mean, it's 6,000 fucking people who voted as well. I have to say, it's not a small subsection of sort of the fandom of society. A sizable proportion of people disagree with this casting. And he's not been casted yet. It's not confirmed. But I don't know, something feels off with it, man. And again, it's the MCU in a microcosm just now. I feel like they're making wrong decisions. And they just weren't making these decisions 10 years ago. When they were casting Chris Hemsworth, they were casting Chris Evans, they were casting Tom Hiddleston, they were casting, I don't know, Scarlett Johansson. Always blanking Clint Barton, actor's name, I don't know why. Fucking hell, why they always blank his name? It's so annoying. Jesus Christ. When they were casting these guys though, man, and these gals, they were getting it right. Again and again and again and again. Everything was bang on, apart from Ben Kingsley. But they've even saved that now, thanks to Destin Daniel Cretton and what he did in Simu and Shang-Chi, I should say. This wasn't something they were doing. People were, even if they weren't sure about an actor, they were quickly won over. And it may be the case with Pedro. He may take this role on and he may win everyone over. He is a fantastic fucking actor. But it just feels like they're starting to make decisions, wrong decisions. And I'm worried. I'm not saying he's going to be terrible, but I'm worried. I don't really get on board with this train though. I've thought that John Krasinski is the guy. And that he's always been the guy. And that we can't have any other actor stepping into the role. As I say, he's got a bit of a stank on him from that appearance in Multiverse of Madness. That didn't quite work for me, that. He was off in that role, in that little scene. The scene itself was pretty fucking abominable. It wasn't great. It made all those characters look like bitches. Although that guy with the sort of screaming power, he was to, obviously Wanda Maximoff was to be worried because he would scream and she would die. She turns around and says, "What mouth?" And he's no mouth. That character could fuck off. He deserved to look like a bitch. But the other ones, come on. Captain Britain, I think it was Hayley Atwell, you've got Charles Xavier and Reed Richards. They were all made to look like bitches in that scene. And as I did say, without repeating myself, there's a stank on Krasinski's sort of version of that character for that reason, and part of me doesn't even want him now in the role. He wouldn't be the guy I'd go to if it fell through with Pedro Pascal. I don't know who they cast. I don't know what they do. Someone mentioned Adam Driver. I don't know, man. Is Adam Driver Mr. Fantastic? Is he? Really? Is he the guy you're looking for? He's got a very particular vibe, is Adam. He's got a particular look. And it's not screaming Mr. Fantastic to me. Everything I've said about Krasinski stands, but he does have that vibe. He just feels like Mr. Fantastic. He's got that sort of salt and pepper look. He's got the right level of maturity, but still youth on his side to a degree. I don't know where they go now, man. I really don't. I could speak about this for fucking years and years and years and just keep going round in circles. I'm slightly concerned about this casting. I really am, man. It's off to me. It's not feeling right. But then, who the fuck am I? But a shit kicker from Glasgow, talking on the internet. My opinion means nothing. Nothing. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think it's Daniel Rickman who has brought this news, and I think he's been on the money quite a few times in regards to MCU stuff, so he certainly seems to know his shit. So I think it's looking more and more likely that Pascal is going to be the man to play Reed Richards moving forward. It is also looking like Vanessa Kirby is going to be the person to play Sue Storm in the movie. And again, is she not playing the wife? Is Sue Storm not the wife of Reed Richards? Am I barking up the wrong tree here? Is that right? I may be wrong. But really, she's 35. He's 47. What the fuck? Really? Now, she is most definitely someone who I could see playing Sue Storm, 100%. I can see that happening. She's got youth on her side, years worth of potential to play this character. Fantastic actor, really enjoyed her in the Mission Impossible movies. She's in Napoleon, she's getting praised for Napoleon. She's a fantastic actor, and she just looks like Sue Storm. She is the perfect casting for Sue Storm. That's an example of something just feeling right. Rosario Dawson is an example of something feeling right. When she was getting rumoured to play Ahsoka, it just felt right. David Corenswet for Superman, it just feels right. Robert Pattinson for the Batman, when it was announced, it felt right to me. People were blowing back against Robert Pattinson being cast as the Batman. I was telling them to shut the fuck up, because the man's career post Harry Potter and post Twilight has been one hit, sort of sleeper hit and cult classic after another. Working with some of the best directors in the business. He's built a great career. He's developed as an actor. It felt right to me. And I'm sure there's other examples I'm missing out where casting feels right. I'd love to see Heath Ledger. I loved Heath Ledger back in the day. I liked 10 Things I Hate About You and things like that. I wasn't alert enough to him being cast as Joker. I wasn't even aware of the Batman Begins movie until Stephen actually told me about it, and then I went and watched it and was blown away by it. So I was late to the party in the whole Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. I missed the blowback on Heath Ledger, but I don't know, man, it's just something about this doesn't feel right for Pedro Pascal. Vanessa Kirby I'd be on board for. Pascal, not so much. She's just too oversaturated now. He's everywhere, man. And that's worrying when an actor's everywhere. He's going to burn himself out. And if he makes one misstep, he's fucked. So I want to see this guy picking and choosing his roles wisely. He's a great actor and a great guy. And I don't think this is the right role for Pedro. I really don't. But look, it is what it is. I'm going to move on to the next topic, the last topic. Talking about roles and actors being the perfect fit for a role, Maui from Moana and Dwayne Johnson springs to mind. Match made in heaven, man. Absolutely adored Moana. Thought it was a fantastic movie. Really uplifting. Multi-demographic in its construct. Brilliant. Memorable. Earworm-inducing songs. And a brilliant little villainous story with that sort of dragon fucking thing on the island. And an uplifting coming-of-age story for the Moana character as well. And also, you had the borderline genie from Aladdin character with Maui, where he's a little bit eccentric, he's a little bit selfish, he's let out of the sort of bottle, metaphorically speaking. I think he was actually imprisoned, he was trapped in like a cave or something. It's been a while since I've seen it. She actually does let him off this island and he leaves her. Then I think he comes back. I'm pretty sure Moana's the one with the fucking chicken or something. It's on the boat with them. I really enjoyed it. It was a great little film, man. It's one of my favourite Disney Pixar movies of the last 10 plus years. That and Coco are the standout ones for me over that time period. And yeah, Dwayne was on the Jimmy Fallon show, and look, I have to stress, I just love Jimmy Fallon, man. Something about that guy as well. People shit on Jimmy. I know we've had the likes of Joe Rogan shitting on all of the late night talk show hosts and saying that it's all pre-prepared, it's scripted, they tell the crowd when to clap and laugh. I don't really give a fuck about that, man. I watch it and I laugh at a lot of this stuff. And there's something about Fallon's personality. His ability to just jump up with a mic and start fucking singing the Rolling Stones with Keith Richards, Dancing to September by whatever the hell they're called, that band, that Earth, Wind and Fire. He's got an energy to him. I really enjoy his shows, and I love the way he interacts off of the actors and sort of people that come on to his chat show. And this is what we got here. It was Dwayne was on Jimmy Fallon. I'm not going to play it because I'll probably get destroyed by the Tonight Show and the channel will get nuked. But yeah, he did a live action, so he did an impromptu version of You're Welcome. He confirmed that his very next project he's going to be working on is a live action remake of Moana. And I'm on board for this, man. I've been pretty consistent. There'll be people out there who are not on board for this, who will shit on it and say that, look, you don't need to make a live action movie. It's only been a couple of years since we had the animated movie. And look, yeah, they're right. We have only had a couple of years since the animated movie, but there's no time like the present to be getting on board and making another version. And certainly there's an audience there for this movie. Dwayne's not getting any younger, so he has to sort of capitalise on these kind of roles while he can do it. Not saying he's going to fall off a cliff. He's a fucking fit, healthy unit of an individual. But I'm on board for this, man. I've been pretty consistent. I love the live action remakes. In the main, I like Dumbo. I loved Aladdin. I really enjoyed Beauty and the Beast. I liked The Lion King. Were these movies better than the originals? No, they weren't. But they were very, very fucking good. And they had their own unique energy, their own unique flair. And that's something you need. There was another one, wasn't there? I think, was it Cinderella? Might not have been Cinderella. There was one came out a while back and I enjoyed that as well. I enjoy the live action remakes. I'm on board for this, hardcore. Big fan of Dwayne, always been a fan of Dwayne since his Dwayne The Rock Johnson, The Rock WWF days back in the early 2000s, late 90s as a kid. This guy mesmerised me on the weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. As an adult, he continues to mesmerise me with his work ethic and his brilliant personality. He's a thoroughly good guy. I wish nothing but success on him. And yeah, it's just going to be intriguing to see how they cast the other characters. We know he's playing Maui, he's a perfect fit for it. He will have to get a wig, but that's absolutely fine. It'll be good to see Dwayne with a head of hair again. But I mean, he's just tailor-made for that role. He really did put his heart and soul, blood, sweat and tears into the voice acting for the film. You could feel the energy coming through the actual speakers, the headphones, whatever you actually watched it on. You can tell, just like Robin Williams back in the day with Aladdin playing Genie, that he, and I'm referencing fucking Genie again, that's the second time. You can tell the energy he brought. You can tell he was a big personality in that sort of voice acting booth or studio, wherever they do it. And he loved his time making the character and bringing it to life. You can tell it's palpable. And that is, again, just been confirmed when he's so happy and ready to dive into a live-action remake of the same movie. It'll be intriguing, though, as I did say, to see who will be cast. I know Tamura Morrison played the father of Moana. Yeah, I'd love to see Tamura in there. I'd like to see it being faithful to the culture. And bringing in sort of young actors of, I don't know, maybe Samoan, I want to say it as Polynesian. Anyway, culture. And doing it right, man. Doing it right. I mean, I think his cousin or his nephew maybe, and I'm blanking on his name. He's another wrestler that's out just now. I think he's a WWE champion. I'm going to search that up, man. I'm lost track with wrestling. He's a big name, isn't he? What's his name? What is his name? Roman Reigns. I know he is related to Dwayne Johnson. Getting a guy like that in there, man, giving him an acting role, following in the footsteps of Dwayne. I'm pretty sure he is linked. Am I wrong in saying that he's related to... Is he related to fucking The Rock? I think he is. I think it's his nephew or something. They're not blood related. Oh, right, so it's a WWE kayfabe thing. I've been fucking hoodwinked. Hook, line and sinker. That's a shame. Quite liked it when I thought they were related. I'm like, well, just look at the fucking wrestling heritage in those genes. But it is what it is, man. Regardless, he's sort of Polynesian background and ethnicity. I'd love to see Roman Reigns coming in. Just get big actors, big personalities in there and give us a new take on this story, man. Make it happen. I'm on board for it. Shot for shot remake. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I want to see it happening. And I'll be in there day one watching it in the theatres. I really enjoyed Moana as a story, as I did say. All the aspects of it. It's a simplistic story. And once again, what Disney Pixar do, I've said this time and again on here, so brilliantly, is multi-demographic experiences. Where you can have a 90-year-old woman enjoying and watching one of the movies and a toddler of 2-3 years of age enjoying and watching the movie for an entirely different reason. So it's something they're able to do. And it's something that's so important to utilise and sort of connect with in a live action setting. But I'm sure they'll do it. They know what they're doing, Disney. Over the piece, I think they know what they're doing. Sometimes they'll have a misstep. Some people may think Snow White and Rachel Ziegler is that misstep. I disagree personally, but in the main, I think they get it fucking right. And I'm looking forward to it. What's your thoughts on the topics I touched upon? I'm done here. What do you make about... Fucking stretch, man. My back is breaking. What do you make about that Wonka IMAX poster? What's your thoughts on Timothée Chalamet's Willy Wonka raining chocolate balls down from a pink cloud amidst a turquoisey, bluish, violetish, how would you say that in plural? Violet and purple background. It's a wondrous poster for me. Share your thoughts down below about the poster. Thoughts in the Napoleon reviews. What do you make about the apparently celebratory Napoleon reviews? Everyone I read seemed to be pouring fucking scorn and discontentment over the movie. They weren't best pleased with it. It's got a 64% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Share your thoughts down below about that. What's your thoughts on Destin Daniel Cretton leaving the Marvel... Well, not the Marvel... films. Leaving the Kang Dynasty Avengers movie. He was directing it. He is no longer directing it. Is this a sign of discontent, of tumultuousness in the Marvel camp? Are they starting to have little chinks of armour being spotted? Are the metaphorical arrows fucking impaling them up against the wall? Is the Marvel machine hitting a speed bump? Are we in trouble here, or is it just innocent reasons he's leaving for? In the same regard, what's your thoughts on Pedro Pascal being cast potentially as Reed Richards? Is that a misstep? I personally think it is. I don't think he's the right fit for the character. I think he's a little bit too old. He's a little bit oversaturated. Great actor though he is, great human being though he is. I just don't think it's the right casting decision for Reed Richards. What's your thoughts? Share it down below. What do you make about, and Vanessa Kirby as well for Sue Storm, what do you make about Dwayne Johnson confirming a live action remake for Moana is on the way? I'm on fucking board for it. Love the show. Loved the original story. Loved the film. Looking forward to seeing what they do in a live action setting. Anything you feel compelled to share can be put down below in the comment section. It's a place to put your thoughts. You can like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Follow button, notifications button over on Twitch as well to see us on a completely different platform doing the exact same fucking thing. Different strokes for different folks and all that jazz. Like, follow us on Spotify podcasts as well for the audio versions of our dual shows, no single shows in there. And that's a good thing because I just waffle till I lose my voice, which I'm doing just now. So you'll hear me and Stephen bouncing off of each other over in Spotify podcasts if that's your thing. All that's left to be said is thank you once again for watching though, and until the next time, I'm done. Bye-bye. Have to apologise, incidentally. I did not know that we had comments. The live studio on YouTube was not showing comments. It was not showing any comments at all. So I was completely unaware. I've just went into Restream, looked at the chat, and I'm like, fucking hell. There is comments. I do apologise. Semi Javel. Fucking Semi Javel, man. No fucking way, man. Peyton Reed. Jeremy Renner. Yeah, rock and roll star. That's the one. Sue's married to Reed. There we go. I was right. Just go through these now. Fuck it. Yeah. Versus they are a husband and wife. Reboot the MCU. Yeah, I agree. Semi. Colbert is the best. Now we don't need a live action version. Nah, I disagree. I think we do. I love Dwayne. More Dwayne's never a bad thing. See, when you've got like 25-inch fucking biceps, you need to be showing them to the world. The world has to see it. The behind the scenes singing for Your Welcome is amazing. I've not seen that, Sammy. I'd like to see it. I'm on board for it. I'm going to go and watch that just now. And then I'm going to get back to watching Palestine and Israel debate videos. What a rock and roll fucking lifestyle that I live. Anyway, thank you for the comments that I didn't see. Bye-bye.